Hi guys, in this video I'm going to be showing you how to turn your granny squares into either a bag like this or your crossbody one. If you're doing this one, you need 4 squares. This one just requires 3, but preferably a little bit bigger. I did have some granny squares and then remembered how hard it was to see what I was doing with black. So I've just whipped up some more of these ones and I've just whipped them up, which is why they haven't been woven in yet. Woven, you know what I mean. Okay, so the sort of concept on how you put it together is the same for both. So you are going to hold them when you stitch them with the front facing inwards. If you're doing this bag, then I will put them sort of how they would go, like this. So they're all folded into little triangles, and that's how they'd be sewn together. So what you're going to be doing is sewing, I'm saying sewing, you're crocheting down here, up the other side to come back to the middle, down here, and then up. So you're going to end where you began. If you're doing the crossbody bag, you're going to have sort of 2 on top of each other, and then either end they're going to be facing upwards like this. So you're going to be crocheting down here, along here, all tangled up here, and then the same on the other side, just down there and down there, and then you would turn them the right way. So let's get started. As I said, I'm going to show you on the orange so that you can see what I'm doing. So what you're going to be doing is putting them together front ways facing in. If you've already weaved them in and you're not sure which way round they go, you can tell the difference when you turn them. So the back, you'll see like the stitches are much more flat, whereas on the front they're kind of puffier, they puff out a bit more. So if you look at like that one there, it's quite puffy, whereas on here it's flattened. I don't know if that sort of shows. That one's flattened. These are much more sort of 3D looking. You can see, if you look at them, you'll know what I mean. Okay, so you're going to stitch them together, the outside facing in, like this. So you can see the chains along here, and they will be the same because you've made the granny squares the same size, so they'll have exactly the same amount of stitches in. To sew them together, you're going through the whole chain. So you're starting in the corner. So you can see the corner here is the 3 and then the gap. So you're going to go in above the first 3. That's how you know you're going to get it right, because you're going to be on the same stitch on both, like that. And as you can see, you've got your 1, 2, 3 stitches, and it's going in the top. Let me take that out so you can see it better. There you go, 1, 2, 3, and then the chain in the top of this. So you can see 2 lines for each piece. Okay, so then what you're going to do is you're going to get your wool and you're going to drape it over the hook. You're then going to pull that wool through that chain, yarn it over, yarn both pieces, the tail and the working wool over, and you're going to pull that through the loop. You're then going to drop that tail, and that is done. You're going to go in and do your first crochet stitch. So you're going to go through the next chain. There we go. So I've gone through both the chains. I'm going to yarn over, pull it through, yarn over, and pull it through both. So that's the single crochet stitch. and you're going to do those all the way along. Moving this out of the way, it's an unweaved, woven, whatever it is, bit there. So you're going to go into the next chain, which would be here and here. When you've done a few, it becomes easy. You don't have to keep checking each one because they just kind of sit comfortably together. You've gone through the 2 chains there. Focus in on that. Yarn over, pull through. So you've got your 2 loops on there, yarn over and pull through both. So I'll just do another one. This is where it looks a bit awkward because there's the loop with the where I've started that round on that granny square. So I'm through both, yarn over, pull through, yarn over and pull through. So this is what you should be doing regardless of which bag you're making. You're going to go all the way to the end, and then I'll show you for both bags what you're going to do next. Okay, so I have finished that first line. You'll see it creates a nice neat chain, and that when you look from the front it's much flatter. That's why you put them front facing each other, whereas on the other side you can see it creates a bump here. So that's why you do that. Now if you are doing this bag, you are now going to carry on along here. If you are doing this bag, then I'm going to suggest that you get your next piece and go along here. So you want to make sure you've gone all the way to the end. So I've gone to the very corner stitch now. And then you would be putting them here like this. And then jumping into this first stitch to go through here. And then you're going to go all the way along there. Okay? And the reason you're doing that is because it's then going to have created one corner of your bag and the 2 middle bits. Okay? So it's the same again, whichever bag you are doing, you're just going to carry on doing the same stitch. What's going on? Oh, it's tucked in. Can work out what's going on here. So now I will just carry on doing it into every stitch. I've done that corner one, so if I'm doing this bag here, I will then just carry on into the next chain, which is this one. Like that. And you'll notice now that you've done them, when you hold it, let me just finish this one and I'll show you. When you hold it, it's much easier now, so you can just try and push it through all of them at once. There you go. Because they are lined up. But if you are doing that, you do just want to keep double checking. The way you can double check that you haven't missed any is that if you look at your little triangles, they're always lining up with the one behind. So I'll see you when you've done your second line. So we've done the 2 sides on this one, and we've created part of the bag on this one. So just to show you what you're going to do next, so this is where I've just ended. So we've come up here. You're now going to be going down this side, which means you're going to put the front of these together here and go along there. And then if you're doing this one, finished here, so you're going to get your fourth one that's going here, like that. So you want to put these face to face, and you're going to go all the way along there. Okay, so we've just done along here, finished on that line. So to finish off the square, you're doing this bit here, not the square, the bag, like this. So you're going to carry on and go along this edge here. And then on this one, where we've just finished here, what we've created is this bit of the bag. Now, what you need to do is tie this piece off, because you're going to have to start another section. So once you've got all the way to the very end, you want to go into the very corner one, so above the gap. That should be the last stitch you do, which can sometimes be a bit more difficult. Make sure I'm going into the right ones. Okay. Might be a bit snug to get it through. And that's that whole line complete. So then to finish, you're going to yarn over, pull through, cut the wool, keep pulling, yank that, and that is, finish that bit off. So you are going to be now going back, and you want to fold this diagonally so that it can meet here. And you're going to go all the way along there, tie off, and then fold it over, turn it over, and you're going to do the same here. You're going to fold this one diagonally, hold it like that, and go along there. So just to be clear, when it's done, it's going to be this shape. Okay, so I'm going to pause the video, come back when you have done both these lines, or when you've done this last line. Okay, so just to say, when you do these, start at this corner and go to the top of the bag. When you finish your second line, do not tie off, because you will start from there on the next section. You should now, if you turn your bags inside out, now be able to see the form of the bag. So this is a very tiny one. I don't even think you'd get maybe a lipstick in there. But, or I think some of you guys are doing poo bag bags. This probably would be ideal. So what you're going to do is, you've turned it inside out. I've taken the hook out, bear with me. So this is where we are. So if you were to just to turn it, you're going to now go along and into every single of these chain stitches along here, you're going to do a single crochet. So you're going to follow it all the way along, down, up, down to here. When you get to this stitch, you're then going to go into the middle one and do a slip stitch into the first stitch you've done here. So I will show you that in a minute. But so you're going to do a single crochet all the way around the edge. The same for on here. So if I now turn this inside out, you should have what looks like a gravy boat or a boat. So wherever it is that your hook is, you're just going to turn, where you've turned it inside out, you're going to be turning it back the other way. And you are also, again, I can't show you because it's black, bad light, but there is a chain stitch going along here, and you're going to do a single crochet all the way around back to where you started. That might take you a little while, so meet back here soon. So we have come all the way round. just to show you what I was talking about before. I've gone all the way to the end of this, and there's like, that's where I started. So you're just going to go into get off my hand so I can show you. So there's one here and one there. Two. You see I've gone into the chain, which is the corner of this. So it's just finishing that off. You don't have to worry about this if you're doing the other style. If you're doing the other style, you will just come to the end like this. And then you're going to go into the first one that you did. That's the first one. You can see there, first one. Yarn over, pull it all the way through, slip stitch to finish that row. Now, if you've done a small bag, look how tiny this is, one row is enough. Also on certain walls like this one, you can see it's such a thick wall that that row is quite thick, and it's going to give that a bit of strength. If you've got a more fluffy wall, like one of these that are in the middle with a bit of stretch, what you want to do is you then want to chain one, and then go in and do a second row all the way round. On this, you have to do two because it's going to be taking a lot of weight. So I've already done, you'll see here, that has got, that's the end of the square, although you can't see the holes. There you go. There's like 2 rows done all the way around, and then you, once you've done, you either your 1 row or 2 rows on this and your 2 rows on there. Like I say, you're just going to cut. So that was yarn over, pull through, cut, and then pull, like the way you finish anything else. And that goes in there. Okay, so now the only thing left to make is the strap, and the strap I'm going to show you is what you make on both bags. So I'll show you on this. So you're going to find the sides, this here, and because of the style of the bag it's the same on this. It's a square again, so you're just going to do exactly the same thing. Try and find the middle. So we're going to follow the line up. So here is the middle. When you've only done one, it's much easier to do. You can see that that line there is the middle, but it can be a little harder with the two. Really hard to show you on here. But you can kind of follow up the stitches. So what you want to do is you want to count 3 stitches over. So you're going to be doing stitches into these 3 and these 3. You're going to have 6 stitches in total. So it's basically this section here that you're doing. So if you are right-handed, you're going to go in on this side. If you're left-handed, you're going to go in on this side. So you're going to find your middle again, 1, 2, 3. So this is where you're going to start. Go through the whole chain. Put your wool over, holding both pieces like that. You're pulling that through, over the top, pulling it through. Let's try that again. Need to stop watching the phone and do it by eyesight. There we go. So you're going to pull the tail tight, but then drop it. So you're only using now your working wool. That counts as your first of the chains, what you've just done. So you're now going to do another chain. What we're going to be doing is called, the US term is a half double crochet stitch. I'm going to show you how to do it. So the first one, you're going to go back into that hole there that you've just come out of that first stitch. Okay, so you yarn over, you can see it's pulling quite big, makes it easier to go into. Yarn over again and pull through. You've got 3 on the hook, and then what you would normally do with a double crochet is you would yarn over, pull it through 2, yarn over again and pull it through the last 2, but on a half double it's a lot easier. You just put it through all 3. So if I show you that again, yarn over, go through the chain, yarn over, pull it through, yarning over and go through all 3. Let's just do that a bit slower. Yarn over, go through the hole, pull it through, yarn over, 3. Right, how many have I done? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yarn over into the hole, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, through all 3, and then 1 more, yarn over, push through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over and go through all 3. And you kind of want to just rest it down and make sure it looks like it's central, because that is going to be your strap, and that looks okay. So to go on to the next row, you are going to chain 2, and then you're going to turn it, and then you're going to do those half double crochets into all of the stitches, including that first one there. So yarn over, make sure you're going, because it looks like, can you see the chain looks like it's there, but you're actually going into the top there. Just make sure that's what you're doing, not going into the side bit. In, yarn over, pull through. And this is how you're going to do the whole of your handle. So you're going to get to the end, chain 3, and then go all the way back along. And you know you're doing it right if when you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I've just done 1, 6. Now it looks like it's pulling out here. As you go further along, that pulls in a bit tighter, but you are going to notice that it is just kind of a bumpy looking kind of thing. Depends on what kind of wool you're doing. The tighter you do it, there you go, like that. And again, you can see the holes are different, so it just depends on what wool you're using. If you do it, and I know that in the class a few people did it and they were not happy with it, was too loose, there were holes when they did it, so you just need to undo it and do it again, and you just need to keep practicing with the tightness. So it is just going through, round, and this bit is, you basically keep going until you're happy with the length of the strap. Okay, so if we come back once you have done enough on your strap that you're happy with, and then we will finish off, do the last stage. So we now have the straps done for the 2 bags. I've already attached this one, and I'm going to show you how to attach them with this one. So it's not very difficult at all. You need to make sure it's not tangled, that it's not sort of twisted around. And you're going to then fold it. You want a little bit difficult to sort of show you, but you want the outside facing in. So the outside of the bag and the outside of the strap facing inwards. Now you just want to make sure you're going into the right holes. So you can see here, that's the middle. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3. So that is the third. That is my 6th hole, and I'm at this end. So you are going to just do single crochets to secure it. So going to go through this chain, through the whole chain, and this hole. And then it will show you that when that's all attached, it's going to fold out and be the correct way, and the seam is going to be hidden on the inside. Where's my wool gone? No, it's all got tangled in. Okay. So yep, so we've gone through, yarn over, pull through both, yarn over, pull through both loops. Then we're going to go into the next set of loops. You just want to double check each time you're definitely going into the next loop, you're not missing one. Yarn over, put it through, yarn over, through the 2 loops. Do that again, through that chain. See, it's both through both. Yarn over, pull through both. Once you've done this, before you tie it off, you just want to open out the bag and make sure it looks like it is central. So I've done 5. Just got this last one to go. There we go. Pull through. So then you're going to pull it up to double check. As you can see, that's a nice neat seam. And then on the inside, there's a little bit of a raised one. That's why you kind of get complicated with the way you do it. Then you just double check that it looks, so you can kind of see it's almost in line with the end of these 2 green bits. So that is central. Except in the process I've pulled out my loop. Right. No, I've undone one. Let's do that again. Okay, so once you've done them all and you've checked it's central, you are just going to yarn over, pull through, cut the wool, pull it, and then that's just another lovely bit of weaving in to do behind. So if you've done a small bag like this, that's it, pretty much finished. You've got your magnetic clasp, which you can sew in. Something to be aware of is obviously you can't just, the holes on the magnetic clasp, you need to wrap the thread around them, and then you can go into this wool or you can go around the wool. So if this was like a needle, you could go around it to secure it rather than through it. That will just make it a little more secure. So yeah, so if you've made a larger version of this, what you can do is line it. With this one, this has come out really big because I've done these squares 1 row bigger, and it's a thick wool. So you can kind of decide whether you want to line them or not, but if they are over a certain size, I would recommend it. So you can just get some like lining fabric or any spare fabric you've got, lay the bag out on the fabric, and then just draw around it. So 2 pieces that you're then going to sew together, turn out the right way. And because you've drawn around this, then because of the sewing seam, it will then just be slightly smaller once you then put it inside and sew it in. And that's that finished. You can, like I say, small one like this, just do the weaving in and you're done. If it's bigger, do a lining, just because you don't want things falling through all the holes. With this one, if it's smaller, you might not want to bother, but what I have done is I've also sewn up part of the edge. So this is obviously a lot of a bigger bag, but even with a magnetic clasp, that's still, you know, pretty open. If it was over your shoulder, or things could fall out. So just to show you how to do that, it is quite simple and quite quick. So now to attach these together, we're going to be doing some double crochets. The first thing you need to do is make sure that your handle is inside like this. So it's almost like you're sewing it into the bag. And the reason for that is if you left it out, when you turn it inside out, it will be trapped on the inside. So this way, when you turn it the right way, it will be in the right place. Okay. So if I just take it out for the moment though, just to show you, if I start sewing right here, that's going to turn this. So on a smaller one, you can see there it's got a little bit of a tuck. That doesn't matter too much. But where this is a little thicker, I don't want it to do that as much. So I'm going to start stitching a few stitches in. So there's a little hole there, but nothing big enough for anything to fall out of. And then it just means it's not twisting that in as much. Okay. So yeah, let me tuck this in before I forget and have to redo the whole thing. Okay. You then want to work out how big you want the opening to be. So if you look here, I've done it to here, here, and that's a nice size opening where you can get things in and out, but when the clasp is done up, the holes are pretty small to stop things coming out. So I'm thinking, because these are quite big, I'm probably going to go to sort of in line with the end of that, just here and here. So that will kind of give it an opening like that. So have a play around with it, or when you actually stitch it up, leave it. Don't tie the knot off until you're happy with that opening. Okay, so the way in which we do this is I'm just going to line these up, work out where I'm going to start. I'm thinking around here, so I can make sure that I've got the same on both sides, because I'm going to do the middle of this white one. There's then a stitch that comes all the way up, and then I can do that on the other side. So follow that stitch all the way up, go in to both, and then just double check that that all still lines up, and it does. Okay, so I've gone through both, underneath both chains on both sides. Then you're going to put your wool over the top, hold them both with between your middle finger and your forefinger, pull them through, over, pull through. So then you've got your two lines on there, and then you're going to drop your tail. So the stitch we're going to do is a double crochet stitch, and that counts as our first chain. So we're going to chain 2 before we then start going along. So yarn over through the whole of that chain, and the next one, pull it through. If you are not confident and you can't see all of these chains, if you've got a dark colour like me, then go through the two separate sides separately, if you know what I mean. I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so yarn over, go through the first one. You can hopefully be able to see that quite easily, and pull it apart. Right, that one goes in there, so I want to go to the next chain. It's hard to show you on the black, but that's going to be here. So I'm confident and comfortable. The more you do, it just sits together, so you don't need to check as much. But that's just more of a thing that will change as you grow more confident. So you're then going to keep going all the way along to wherever it is you feel you want to stop. So what did I say here? So I'm going to do another 1, 2, 3, 4. Yarn over, through the first, through the second, yarn over, pull through both, yarn over, through the first 2, yarn over, through the second 2, and it's creating, you can see the stitches here, look. The lines, I don't know if I'm saying that you can, but there you go, yeah, you can see each individual line. Okay, what did I say? Right, 3 more. Okay. So I'm on my last two. Push them through, double check I'm going through the right one. Pull, it doesn't want to pull through because this is so thick. So it might take a little jiggling. First two, second two. Okay. So that is in line there. So I'm going to double check that that is the same, which it is. Perfect. Okay. So I know that I haven't missed one of the stitches on either side because they both line up. And then you go. So it's only a small area that you sew, but it will make a difference in terms of using the bag. And it does look like it sticks up quite a bit, but this is the inside of the bag, so it won't show. So if you're unsure at this point, you wouldn't be cutting it off like I've just done. You might want to turn it out the other way and double check you're happy with it. If I do that, you see now the strap is on the right side. If I hadn't tucked it in, it would still be trapped inside here. It would be like this. If I'd left it in and done it up, if I'd left it out and done it up, it would now be like this, and the strap would come out like this. So that's why it's really important to remember to put it inside. So as you can see here, it's nice and flat. When you're holding it, it's got a nice curve here. That's not pulling this in because I've left that gap here. If I hold this side, you can kind of see how it's going to look, and I'm happy with that. So I can turn it back inside out and do the other side again. So I will do that, and then I will come back and show you the finished result. And here it is, all finished. Well, minus the weaving in. And you'll see it's got a nice space to put things in and out. So once the magnetic clasp is in there, that will be keeping everything secure. As I said before, you can do a lining. So all you would need to do is draw around this on fabric, 2 pieces of fabric, sew them and hem them, etc. Attach them together, turn them in the right way so that it sits inside this. And then add the magnet and it is done. The lining might be easier to do prior to doing, because I haven't done the lining for mine yet, but I would assume it would be easier to do before you do these final stitches, because it will be able to go in easier. You can sew it in, and then these 2 sections here to just hold it closed more will just be finished and neatening it off. But yeah, so this was meant to be a crossbody bag, but it's actually come out almost, you could potentially have that as a over the shoulder kind of slouch bag, if you wanted. But yeah, so that's the 2 bags. Good luck, guys. Please do send me your pictures once they're done. Please tag me in them on Instagram or Facebook. I would really appreciate that. And good luck.